Elder I use for the Mastercasters. Yeah. So basically, Elder is my preference for Fender type guitars, for guitars with bolt-on necks. Yeah. And that's Elder, and I love the German Elder because it's I find it in general it's more lightweight than American Elder, but it seems to be more dense. Yeah, it's more dense. I feel it when I route it. You know, when I use the router, and I feel the difference in the wood very much. And that stuff I've got is very, very good. It's very old and air dried. It's not from the oven. That's a very good question. To be honest, I don't know. It's always a challenge. It's always a challenge. I seem to be known for unusual stuff, and you know, I also had customers. They went to other guitar makers and they said, "No, thank you very much. I'm not going to do it." So they came to me. Everything's a challenge. I mean, the first Flying V, for instance, the acoustic Flying V, what big challenge. Not just the time pressure with the 3 weeks, but also, I mean, I never made an acoustic Flying V before. I made acoustic guitars, but not acoustic Flying Vs, and there were many problems securing, which I wasn't familiar with. Yeah. For instance, where the neck joins the body, there's not much material. Yeah. So I had to find a way to make that connection very strong because I was worried that the neck's going to be too loose. Yeah. And Rudolf he's a very comfy player, you know, he loves very low actions. Yeah, extremely low. So everything had to be very strong. Yeah, I basically made a big block out of Corinna, which is strong wood, very lightweight, and I sort of like plywood in different grain directions. I glued it together to get it stable, and yeah, it was difficult. Also, I told Rudolf, I can't guarantee you any big sound, acoustic-wise, right? Because, listen, I mean, it's a Flying V, there's not much, there's not a big area. The top area is not very big to vibrate, right? So I think it's going to sound very thin. I warned him. He said, don't bother. I'm going to just play it on stage. It's going to be with a pickup and it doesn't matter as long as it plays well. But of course, it was a challenge for me to get it as good sounding as possible. And I remember I made the... Huh?
You're a perfectionist too.
Yeah, well, of course I want to get the thing sounding, you know, I wanted to, because I wanted it to sound at least as good that it's also fun to play acoustically. Yeah, that you don't go like ping, ping, and put it away, you know? So it should have some charm and sound. So anyway, I was making the body, and I remember, you know, when I make acoustic guitars, I have the body finished. Before I put on the bindings, I give it knocking, and I listen to the sound, and I sing into it, and I listen to the resonant frequencies, and get the tuner out and see how the body is tuned, basically. And I remember that Flying V body was sounding like a snare drum. It was going ping, 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 ping. No dong, dong, boom, boom, you know, the way I like it. No, it was going ping. I was so disappointed. So I was sanding. I remember I sanded the top about half as thin as it was before until it started sounding. Always going tick, 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 tick with tune and tick, tick, tick. And at one stage it was, I don't know, I mean, I shouldn't say that, but I think at the end, on the sides, the top is just 1 millimeter thin, which is really, really thin, really thin. And anyway, when the guitar was finished and I pulled on the strings, I was very surprised. And nicely surprised, because the bloody thing was sounding. And it wasn't sounding too bad, and it was quite loud. And it had much more bass than I ever dreamed of. And the funny thing was, with the Flying V, it's got the sides are straight. Yeah? And the sides were vibrating like mad. They were vibrating like the back, so they actually were like an extension of the back. Oh, wait a minute. There's just something popping up here. Anyway, so the whole guitar was nicely vibrating, and if it vibrates, there's air movement and there's sound, and it was great. I was very happy. Rudolph was very happy. Pickup was good. Gig was good. Everything good. He ordered the next one immediately. And I remember the next one was blonde, completely blonde. The first one was, the back was rosewood back sides and a Spanish cedar neck. The next one was flamed maple neck as well. And then came 12-string, rosewood back and sides. And, you can see all the guitars at the, I think at the MTV show. He plays them all. He plays every single one. Yeah, and then regarding challenge, your original question was, what's the biggest challenge? Okay, Rudolph, I need a double neck acoustic. Oh my God. Yeah, well.
Yeah, that was yours.
That was big time challenge, really. Oh my God, I sweat my heart out on that one. Double neck acoustic, Flying V. At least there's no other one. It's the only one there is. And it works fine, works great. It's just recently, unfortunately, the pickups gave up and I fitted new pickups, complete new pickup system, and it's fine again. And challenge, much more challenge. Yeah, as I told you, the Mastercaster was a big challenge. The Mastercaster is one of those guitars where it looks normal, I mean, for somebody who doesn't know about guitars, it just looks like a normal Strat. But it's what's inside, that really makes a difference. It's not just the wood, because the wood is pretty standard as well. Yeah? It's got that old German alder. It's got an Alpine maple neck. And nice fretboard, rosewood. But that's all pretty traditional. Then we got the Floyd Rose tremolo, which is not too unusual as well. I mean, there are many guitars out there with Floyd Rose tremolos. But, for instance, when I use Floyd Rose tremolos, I always put carbon fiber into the neck. Yeah, so all my guitars with Floyd Rose tremolos, all the Explorer 90s, all the Mastercasters, they feature carbon fiber rods inside the neck, just to make them stronger, right? Because it can happen that, you see, when you use that tremolo a lot and you do this starting Harley and all that, it's a big stress on the neck, because the neck has to hold the tension of the strings, and when it all of a sudden loses it and goes back, and you see some guitars can't do that. They don't go back into the original position, and the neck is a bit bent and all that. and also regarding the climate changes. And, that's why I use carbon for the necks. For instance, a feature you don't see. When you put the guitar in the X-ray, then you see it, but you won't see it otherwise. Also, it seems to help the sound. It seems to help the sound as well. Also, I use that carbon stuff, for instance, when I make guitars for Klaus Meine. Klaus, you know, he's got small hands, and he loves really slim necks. They're so slim, they're extremely slim. I always put carbon fiber inside. Yeah. Because otherwise it would be so easy to bend them. Yeah. And the guitar would have no sustain and no bass and nothing. You know? So I put those rods in, works perfect. Okay, the Mastercaster, I explained to you already all the pickups. And, the controls are very funny as well. You know, very funny controls. Yeah, with the two pots, it's a bit like a jazz bass, like a Fender jazz bass, but with condensers. And one pot is linear, the other is logarithmic. It's very, very special. Yeah, a special guitar, you see. But from the outside, it just looks so normal. And then another feature, very important feature, that I don't know about any other guitar that has that. Oh, actually, yes, there is one. Eddie Van Halen's old one. Anyway, the lead switch. I call it lead switch. Matthias calls it full force switch. Little switch at Mastercaster. Not only the Mastercaster, also, by the way, I've got that switch in all the Explorer 90s with two pickups. Yeah. With that switch, you can switch the bridge humbucker straight to the output socket with bypassing all the other circuits. That means if you have a sort of wind of change sound on the Mastercaster adjusted with the pots and the switches and all here, that part a little bit there and this here. When you need a lead sound, you switch the lead switch and immediately you have full force bridge humbucker straight to the output socket. So you get the full blast of the humbucker, the bridge humbucker, full lead sound. And you won't believe how much guitar electronics, I mean the pots and the switches, take off sound. You would think that, for instance, if you switch to the bridge humbucker and you turn every pot on 10, full up, yeah, normally that means, okay, full power, bridge pickup, full power, yeah. But with a lead switch, you can make the experiment of do that, switch the bridge humbucker, all pots full up, and then switch the lead switch, and you're going to be amazed of the difference. It's like a turbo boost on top of the original sound. Yeah, that shows you that every guitar, every bloody guitar on the market could sound much, much better with that bloody switch. Nobody knows. Nobody knows. But that switch makes a big difference. Of course I do. Of course I do. I mean, that's my daily job. Of course I do. Yeah,
Not just Rockstar or for the band.
No. Don't think that I'm just working for pop stars and rock stars and that all my guitars are more than 10 grand. Please, don't think that. Don't think that. Yeah, I'm a normal guitar maker making guitars for normal people. And to be honest, I treat everybody the same. It doesn't matter to me if you're the King of China or Matthias Yaps or just the guy from down the road. I treat everybody the same. Yeah? If you're a guitarist, you have a problem, I'm there to help you. Yeah, and you can get a guitar. I mean, you know, they start at about 3 grand. Yeah, let's say, even $3,000. Already I can do something, simple, but I can make a proper guitar. And I can guarantee you that it's going to fit your needs and suit your fingers and all that. See, this is why I'm there, because when you buy a factory guitar, you have to buy what you get. I mean, okay, you can choose in the shop and you can pick this one. You try to find the best that suits you. But there will be always something that's not quite right. There's always something that's not quite right, and that's why I'm there. You see, I want to get it right. Yeah. And also, you see, when you get a guitar from me, I've got the luxury of I'm able to use the old wood, because I'm not making so many guitars. You see, I'm not making hundreds of guitars. I just make a few, so I can afford to keep wood for 20 years. I've got wood outside the door, yeah, actually outside in the garden stored, so it's good to have the wood outside, so it gets the climate changes and all that. It always helps the wood developing into nice tone wood. That stuff is 20 years old. I mean, I had a few removals with that wood. I always carry it with me, and still there, right? It's a one time, I bought 2 trees, full trees, which means 2 big logs of wood cut into boards, maybe 60 millimeters or something. And I can make many guitars out of it, many guitars. And it's still there. It's still there. You see, in a factory, all that stuff would have been gone in one day. Yeah, they can't afford to keep stuff for many, many years and leave it outside and let it dry and all that. The factories can't afford that. So when you buy a factory guitar, I always say you buy a guitar with green wood. Yeah, that wood might have been half a year ago, might have been still growing in the forest. Yeah.
Okay.
And there's a big difference in sound, if you have artificial dried wood or naturally dried. Big difference. Yeah. Anyway, I don't want to slack off the factory guitars, because if you're lucky, you find a good one. Of course, there are good guitars out there. There are good factory. I mean, I love Fender Gibson and all that. They were always good guitars. I used to have loads when I was young. I played all the biggies and learned a lot of them. Learned a lot. Also, when I do repairs, I've done thousands of repairs and lots of vintage guitars, and that gave me a lot of experience for my guitars. So I try to pick the best parts of the certain models and put them into my guitars. The worst? There's no worse.
So none that had been rejected by Matthias or Rudolph?
No rejections. No rejections. It's just the last one, as I told you. He actually played it at the gig for 3 numbers, so it couldn't have been that bad, It's just they're in that situation now that they're just not ordering anymore, because they're selling, as I told you. Matthias' words were, "I'm not buying anymore, I'm just selling." Yeah, that's the way it goes. It has nothing to do with the guitar or anything. It's just they have so many, and if they want to stop touring and all that, they won't need them anymore. To be honest, I don't think they're going to ever stop anyway. They're going to stop the big tours, but there will always occasions where they appear and whatever, I don't know, the Grammy or all of a sudden, hello, here they are, and doing one off, I could imagine. We'll see what happens.
Those of us in the States hope that they hit us at least one more time before they actually stop.
Yeah. Anyway,
what is the best guitar you ever made for them, and that you are very proud of?
I'm proud of all of them. Every single one, to be honest. Every single one.
Love that answer.
All of them. But of course, I mean, we spoke about that before, the challenges, the double neck and Mastercaster. And of course, they were all challenges. Also, the first universe, the Galaxy, Explorer 90 Galaxy, I'm very proud of, because it actually is Matthias' main guitar. That's his absolute number one. And I'm very happy that I got it right from the start, because the first one I made for him is still his number one. Yeah. And with all the inlays, and I'm very proud of, I tried to combine his ideas with my ideas, and I think we got a great result there. Great result. Another guitar I haven't spoken about yet, but which I'm very proud of, and nobody knows about, and nobody ever saw it. But to be honest, it's Rudolf's most played guitar. A travel guitar. When you go to my webpage and you go to, I don't know if it's Flying V's or is it mini guitars. You find a Flying V, which is actually a travel Flying V. You can attach the wings. You can take the wings off and put them separate. And when you take the wings off, it's a very small guitar, very small. It actually fits in the standard Samsonite case. Because I made mini guitars before. I made a guitar, for instance, for the bass player of Halloween. Maybe you know, quite famous German band as well. And he came in the workshop with a Samsonite case, and he said, "I need a guitar that fits in there." So I made a mini guitar, full scale, full neck, everything. I mean, the full normal Les Paul scale, but small headstock, everything's small. So you can play it in the hotel room. Anyway, that guitar I made for Rudolf, that treble V, he said, "I need one that I can carry around, small thing, but when it comes to, I want to make it a big one." A transformer guitar. Oh, by the way, that's what it's called. It's called Transformer.
Oh,
like the Transformers, right? You transform mini into proper Flying V. So I made it like his old, the black-white one, the black-white Flying Vs. They both played it, Rudolf and Michael. The old ones. One side was black, the other side of the guitar was white. So I used that design, and this guitar, funny enough, is Rudolf's most played guitar. He told me himself. He has that guitar that goes with him everywhere. Wherever he goes, he brings that guitar. He has a little flight case, nice, tiny little flight case, and actually I have a picture somewhere. The guitar in it, a little 4-track digital thing in it. Maybe today he has something else done it. But he used to have a little 4-track thing, little drum computer. And and he told me, this is the guitar I use the most, I write most of the songs with. When he's in the hotel room and he's going ping, 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 and he's got an idea, record it. It's that guitar. Yeah. And it happens, for instance, he's somewhere in Russia. There's a local band. They want to jam. Yeah. He goes there. He does things like this. I love him for that. He actually goes down to the pub, to the local band, and plays a session with them. They have a jam. Yeah. And then he attached the wings. Yeah. Oh, actually, he told me, it looks funny. The guitar looks funny with the wings because now the headstock is so small. So I made him a piece he can put on the headstock that the headstock's bigger. Yeah, and then he walks on stage with that guitar. It just needs 4 bolts. It takes 10 seconds to fit the sides, And then he has a full proper guitar, and he can do the windmill and all that, you know. And great, yeah. So that guitar I'm especially proud of because that's Rudolf's most played guitar. I've never seen him on stage though with that guitar.
No?
But I know on stage he plays the proper ones.
Oh.
As I told you, maybe you find a YouTube video somewhere in a pub down in Russia. I don't know if he plays it there, you know, because that's the occasions. You know, he grabs a little thing under the arm and goes there, has a little vodka with the boys, that's Roth, yeah, and they play.
That sounds fantastic. That's a great story. I'm glad you told us that.
And then, of course, another challenge, Acoustic Explorer for Matthias. Yeah.
Okay.
Big deal. Basically, same situation like with the Flying V. You know, just the problems were a bit different. Yeah, but I tried to get it sounding, and yeah, it works fine. Works fine. So Matthias has 3 of them.
I'll tell you, they were very fortunate to find you.
Well, that's very simple to answer. They're all my pickups. I make them. And yeah, I make pickups since I can think. I mean, I started making pickups when I started making guitars in the 70s already, but they were a joke. You couldn't call them pickups. They were a joke. I was basically, I built myself a winding machine in the early days, you know, $5 parts, and it took about half a day to wind one coil. I just done little rewind jobs here and there. But I was always very interested in pickups, especially because I worked for quite a while together with Bill Lawrence, very famous pickup man. He's originally German, then he went to the States. And because he was working with a company where I got trained guitar making, and he told me a lot about pickups. You know, he made me really getting interested in pickups. And this guy knows the in and out. For me, Bill Lawrence is the man regarding pickups. He invented so much. He worked for Gibson and all the biggies. Yeah, great guy. Unfortunately, he's dead by now. Anyway, of course, I used Bill Lawrence pickups in the 80s, and then Seymour Duncan I used a few DeMasters. I used the Gibson. I liked the classic 57. Anyway, the reason I started really producing my own pickups was a jazz guitar. I also make jazz guitars, you know, the big arch tops, like Gibson Super 400, Angelico, those types. This is my real love, you know, that's the real craft, you know, the real acoustic big jazz boxes with the arch top, arch back and everything. Unfortunately, not good guitars to make money because they take too much time, but I just love doing them. Anyway, I needed a pickup for those type of guitars. And the ones I could find, there's not much on the market because they need to be very slim and they're raised above the body. They're not like normal pickups where you have the big hole and you screw them in. They're not allowed to touch the top of the guitar, so they have to be very slim. And there used to be pickups called the Armand, old American pickup company, but I think they went out of business 30 years ago or something. And you can't get those pickups anymore. They were great pickups, but you can't get them anymore. And if you get them, they're ridiculous expensive, you know, vintage collectors stuff. And anyway, so I made a pickup for my archtop guitars, and therefore I made a new pickup winding machine. I built winding machine, but this time I done it properly. You can adjust everything, that machine. You can adjust the turns and the tension and everything, the speed, and the patterns. You can adjust the whole everything, but it's still hand. I guide the wire by hand. Yeah, so I'm not pressing a start button and have a cup of tea. No, I'm actually sitting there and have to watch it all the time. Yeah, and certain pickups I have to really slow wind, so it still takes quite a while. Anyway, since that machine, I've done so much experimenting. Yeah, first of all, I tell you straight, I tried to copy a Gibson pickup because they were ridiculous expensive. And I just tried to save money, right? So I made the Gibson pickup. And at that time, I had a guy I made sort of Les Paul guitars. You know? And that guy, he knew exactly how the old ones sound because he owned a few old ones. You know, he knew exactly how the old guitars sound. And that guy actually helped me a lot because I made many, many PAF pickups. And the funny thing is with those old PAF pickups is they're basically all the same. They're all the same. The dimensions are the same. They use the same wire. But the difference of the tension of the wire and a little difference in the amount of the turns makes quite a big difference in sound, I found out, you know. It's funny. Little variations in those pickups can cause a big sound difference. And anyway, I remember I made about 20, 30 PAF type pickups until that guy who knew about the old one said, now you got it. Now you got it. Yeah, and that's how I developed my range of pickups. It started all with a pickup that I now call PAF 84. It's a PAF type pickup where you can't go wrong. You can't go wrong. Everybody who bought that pickup is extremely happy. Extremely happy. I just got it right with this one. I also have a weaker version called PAF 78. It's a bit weaker. It's for the people who say a Les Paul has to sound like a Telecaster, which I disagree. But some people like it. Okay, so they get the 78 model. Then I have a version which I myself prefer for the bridge. I always want to have a little hotter version for the bridge. I call it PAF 93. And that's my version for bridge. And it's my most sold PAF pair is the 93 and the 84. I sent this pair out once for a big test review. There was a couple of years ago, there was a big test review in Guitar and Bass, which is a German magazine for guitar and bass, as it says, the biggest actually. And they made a big test review. I don't know. I think they tested about 50 different PAF type pickups. And guess who won?
Are you kidding?
Right.
It's fantastic.
We won, but I must be honest, there was another guy who won with us. They couldn't decide who was first because the other guy was good as well. Anyway, knock on wood, yeah, we got that one, and I sold many of those sets. If you have a problem guitar, if you have a Les Paul you're not happy with, you get the so-called test pair. I call it test pair because it wasn't a test. PAF 93 for the bridge, PAF 84 for the neck, and you'll be happy. And to make you even more happy, you get a circuit I invented called the Brain, which basically fits every Les Paul type guitar. What it does is it adds another tone control to your guitar. You have two tone controls in the Les Paul. What it does is it changes the two controls master controls. The one remains basically the same. It makes the sound a bit muddy. It takes off the trebles. The other control performs a miracle. I call it twang control because that's exactly what it does. It gives you twang. What everybody is looking for, yeah, get that Fender type of sound. It's a filter. It's like a sort of notch filter that takes out certain frequencies. When you turn down that control, you get a sort of Fender sound. Yeah, you get it takes out lots of middle. It remains bass and the trebles, and sounds great. And it's really full usable. You don't have to turn it full down. You can turn it half down or maybe 2/3 or something. And then you can combine it with tone control. For instance, if you turn them both full down, you get a sort of, I call it CC top sound. You know, it really is, it's a very nosy sort of. One of my customers from Brooklyn, he calls it garbage sound. It sounds like a garbage can. But it's a great sound. You got to listen to it. Actually, yeah, whenever you have the chance, go through my videos on the webpage. You should find examples where you can hear that sound. Very unusual. So I have many customers who updated their Les Paul with my test pair plus this brain circuit. And when you get the test pair with a 4-conductor wire output, then you can also use 2 push-pull pots. And you can also split the humbuckers, good old split, everybody knows, 1 coil off. Yeah, and that in combination with that twang control, you get not only strut sounds, you can get really cheeky tele sounds, like a Telecaster, that country style cheeky sound, you know. You can get all those sounds. It's great. Doesn't cost much. And it turns your normal Les Paul into a studio monster. You don't need any other guitar, you see. You just carry the one guitar, and if you need a clean Fender-type sound, yeah. Okay, it's not as authentic as my patent pickup, because the patent pickup is a real pickup. It doesn't emulate anything. Yeah, the brain wiring is like emulating a single coil sound, even if it isn't. But it makes you think it is. Yeah. Yeah, anyway, I have that.
Do you have these on your website?
Yeah, it's all on the website. And my standard, if I get the chance to make a guitar for myself, for instance, now I got the chance. Funny, it's not a funny story. It makes me quite angry. I had a guy, he was supposed to be my distributor for China and Hong Kong. He ordered 2 guitars, but he just paid one, right? So I kept the other one because he didn't pay. And that guitar I now have. Actually can show it to you if you like. It's a classic model. It's a bit like Les Paul. But with all the updates, you know, all the updates are done. Like, okay, the design is a little bit different because I'm not allowed to copy. It features chambers inside the body, not only to make it more lightweight, but also to enhance the tone. It features 3 chambers for 3 different overtones. Yeah. I could go in detail, I wouldn't now, but Gibson copied me. They copied that. They also copied my neck connection because I invented a neck connection for a Les Paul type guitar that it can reach the upper frets. So most of my guitars feature as pickups that test pair plus the brain circuit. Because I think with this combination, you can basically cover every style you need to play. Okay, if you want to go extreme, if you really need the really heavy lead sound like the Scorpions, I would recommend the Muscle Bucket for the bridge, the Muscle Bucket pickup, because it's got more oomph. Yeah, but then again, the Musselbagger, it can sound clean as well. Actually, Matthias uses it clean quite often. He turns down the volume and then the pickup becomes clean.
That's fascinating.
Okay.
I don't know what else to ask you. You've just been so amazing that you've sat here and given us so much information. Give us your website.
Oh, yeah. So it's a good old www.guitarmaker.de.
Excellent.
And Guitar Maker, yeah, one word.
Right.
Also, I have a com address, which is dommengetguitars.com, but nobody will remember that. All right.
I'll post it. I'll post it for whoever wants to know that. I think that everyone that is listening to this should pay your website a visit. And
have a look. There's plenty to see. Click on all the guitars. There's going to happen more. I should have mentioned that, but many of the pictures actually have links to go deeper into certain models, right? So just click on the guitars and you find out everything. Yeah.
That's great.
And of course, I could talk a few hours. Yeah, many stories to tell, but I suppose people might get bored.
Is there anything else that you want to say to us, or that you want to leave us with before we say goodbye?
Oh, I just hope everybody enjoyed it, and I hope everybody got the information they were looking for. And if you ever need a real personal guitar with a great playability and a good sound suited to exactly what you need, let me know and do some business. And as I said, I'm not just working for the biggies. I also work for normal guitarists, as I'm a normal person. And also the prices are normal. Yeah, they're not out of reach. And give me a ring, send me an email, and we get in touch.
Boris, I can't thank you enough for, like I said, giving us your time. And I hope that we haven't heard the last of you, and that if there are other questions, that maybe the fans can contact you and ask them through your website.
Of course. You find all information there, and you're welcome to email me. And we even can Skype if my bloody computer works again. And yeah.
That sounds great. This is Christy Rocks talking to Boris Dommenget, and thank you again so much. It's been a real pleasure, Boris, talking to you.
All right. See you all. Bye-bye.